Hello everyone! With the Legacy of the Sith expansion 7.0 update for Star Wars The Old Republic coming in the holidays of 2021, the BioWare developers have been allowing players who are subscribed to test the upcoming combat changes to classes on the public test server, the PTS. This is available to everyone who's subscribed, and I highly encourage you, if you currently play a Sniper or an Operative, to come test on the test server. They just recently released the Operative and the Sniper, so the two advanced classes for the Imperial Agent, fully available for testing. There's still the Guardian and the Sentinel on there as well if you wanted to go test those and didn't catch the earlier rounds. If you do not have the Star Wars The Old Republic test server installed yet, it's a bit of a process. You will need to install a whole second version of the game, and it's different whether you are playing the game through Steam or through SWTOR.com. I've got a completely separate video called How to Download and Install the SWTOR PTS that will walk you through all of that. So once you've got it installed, in this video, I'm going to show you how to test the Sniper and the Operative on the test server, what you're kind of looking at, what you're looking for, and what you want to test. I'll also at the end kind of be showing off some of the differences between the current live version of the game and what we're seeing on the test server. So first off, create a Sniper or an Operative, doesn't matter which one. You'll be creating a level 1 character. You will not... Test server. We'll name our character test server, sure. You will not be able to copy or transfer a character from the live server. You must make a brand new level 1 Sniper or Operative. So I'm just pressing escape to quickly get out of the intro scene there. And then I'm going to press escape again to get out of these normal story cutscenes because I don't want to play those. I want to skip straight to the testing, and I want to skip straight to level 75. And the test server, which is very different from the normal server, it has some additional stuff to it, allows you, gives you some special options to jump forward to level 75. So you're going to be starting off at level 1, and you're just going to run outside here. You're going to run outside to the planet of Hada, and you're going to go talk to the taxi out there. And this is a very similar step as if you're testing the Jedi Knight in previous iterations. So you're looking for the PTS fleet teleport guy. He's going to ask you, would you like to teleport to the fleet? Yes, we would like to go. Yes, please. Fun little silly angles there. And that will teleport us straight to the Republic fleet without having to go play our class story and level up normally. I did have a small bug where in one instance, I don't know what I did, but it wouldn't let me talk to the droid. And even if I went back to the character screen or made new character, I still couldn't talk to it. In that case, I just had to entirely restart my game, and it did let me go. So once you load into the fleet, you're just going to run straight to this elevator here. This is the normal Imperial fleet. Nothing crazy here. And what we're looking for is the combat training section. Combat training section. So if you're on an Imperial character, you would turn to the right after you get off the shuttle. When we were testing the Jedi Knight, and in earlier iterations, we would go to the Jedi Knight room. In this case, we are testing the Imperial Agent, so we're going to head over to the Imperial Agent room, and the easiest way to find it is, in this case, we're close to the start of testing, so we're just looking for 1 million people, and look for the little targeting symbol for the Imperial Agent. So to get your character boosted up is slightly different than previous test servers. You will just talk to this guy. He's called PTS CD-3 Combat Specializer Droid. You just talk to him, and he says, hello, I'm going to give you a bunch of credits, I'm going to level you up, and please open your discipline window to select your ability mods. Have fun. And there was some previous bugs with the test server that encouraged you to talk to the droid twice. I don't know if that's still a bug or not, but I'm going to talk to the droid a second time just in case. And now what I can do is I can pick up my weapons, my relic, my earpiece, and all of that kind of stuff. And on a second vendor, I can pick up sniper equipment or operative equipment. One important thing to know is that these are basically free. They cost 1 credit, and it gives you 1,000,000 credits to start off with. You'll get the stats from these, I believe. Let's see, does it give me any stats? Yes, it'll give you some stats, but the set bonuses will not apply. So you can buy your old school. The Tactician's armor set is generally the best one that players choose for almost every operative class, so you might want to buy that to start off with, but keep in mind none of the actual set bonuses will apply. It actually shows up all in red to make it very, very clear. And so once you've gotten your if you're not sure what to buy for the weapons and accessories, just buy all the red ones, make it easy. And if you're playing operative, just grab the tactician set if you don't really know what you're testing. And you can also buy a tactical too. And if you aren't sure, I don't know if these ones are applying or not. I think the tacticals might apply, but I could be wrong on that one. Once you're ready to go test, you could either, if you have some friends online, go run a flashpoint. What the game kind of recommends is go to Onderon, the planet of Onderon, which is boosted up to level 75, and go fight some enemies, because you'll notice enemies, if you go to like Korriban or something like that, they're all going to be actually level 3. You're not going to be synced down to them just because this is a test server and not everything is finished yet. So once I get to Onderon, I'm going to show you the really cool stuff. So that droid is how you can go get to Onderon. And once you arrive here, since you're boosted up to level 75, but you have not finished the story yet, you'll be able to, unfortunately I have to run the hard way. You'll be able to go talk to the dailies terminal, where it would normally be, and it'll give you a special quest that'll give you access to the dailies, because you have not finished the story, you would normally not have access to it. And it also will give you a speeder, so you can go do some dailies, fight some enemies, and see how this feels. If you're able to, I highly recommend, if you have enough people, to do PvP matches or operations, because I think those are going to give the best kind of comparison to the live game compared to just kind of running around killing random things. So here's called Let's Play Some Dailies. Here's the terminal. It's right here. And then this will give you access to a speeder, though I haven't figured out how to actually use the speeder. I think something kind of broke along the way. And here's some dailies you can pick up. So here's the fun stuff. If you have been waiting to just see the changes and see this new user interface, here's what it looks like. So normally when you would press K or P, K for combat or P for powers, in the live game, the normal game, you would have either your abilities window pop up or your window that has like your utilities and your little zigzag of abilities. This is the new abilities window. When you press P or K, this is what pops up. Players were begging, please, 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 for the test server, can you add some type of interface so we can see these abilities, see these changes, because in previous rounds we only had a text list that was posted on the forums. That was really, really hard for players to imagine or even see and understand what abilities they had and didn't have. So in previous iterations of the test server, you would press P or you would press K and literally nothing would happen. There was nothing to look at or see. So what you have to keep in mind when you're seeing this interface is that it's a really fast, really work in progress interface. They basically just slapped it together just so you could see the tree. So the first thing to know is it's not going to be beautiful. That's why it says a big WIP, work in progress, on it. That's why they're like all in bright pink and stuff's popping up everywhere. And most important thing you're going to notice is in that tree, a lot of the icons are duplicated or the icons are a bit confusing. Don't consider them the final icons, and don't assume anything about the abilities based on the icon. For example, this one looks like, oh, this is Noxious Knives, isn't it? No, it's not. It's not actually Noxious Knives. I have Noxious Knives on my bar. We're good. Okay, so here's how this new tree works. I think this is kind of going to be a vague idea of how it works. It might look slightly different, but this is the mechanics for it. This is the bare bones. This is how it functions. So what it's telling me is at level 1, I'm actually going to switch over to concealment. So I can switch between medicine, concealment, lethality on my operative, and on the sniper I can do the same thing with their 3 disciplines as well, very easily. I'm assuming this black box here is showing me that I could be an operative, and then here would be my second combat style that I could choose later. This is not not functioning in the test server yet. This is not what we're testing, but maybe I could put Vanguard here. Maybe I could put Commando there in the future. So as an operative in the concealment discipline, which is the one I like to play on the live server, at level 1, within concealment only, not counting all my abilities I'd get as like just a natural operative, I will get at level 1 Waylay, which is a passive, and that's something lethality doesn't get and medicine doesn't get. So that's the first important thing to understand, is what is on this tree here. This is only stuff that's specific to concealment or stuff that you need to make a choice out of. This doesn't include abilities you just kind of get. For example, I just kind of get Noxious Knives, and I'll have that no matter what type of operative I am, so it doesn't even show up on here at all. The second thing you need to know is that so at level 10, you'll see I get another concealment only ability. That's Laceration. That's nothing new. Concealment operative has always had that. And I'll also get critical stimulants. Now on the next line at level 15, that's where things get really, really interesting. And I'm actually going to zoom in so you guys can see a little more. Here we go. So on level 15, I have a choice between 3 different abilities. They're not abilities in the sense that I click them, but they are passive abilities. And you'll see there's a little white line connecting them to my Laceration that I get at level 10. And that's saying these 3 abilities here will affect this ability down here. So I have 3 passive options that will affect Laceration in 3 different ways. In general, these 3 different choices, it doesn't really matter which one you choose. They tend to be, for at least for DPS, they tend to be make this ability stronger, like do more damage, make this ability more defensive, or make this ability have more mechanics like a slow or a stun or something like that. So you get to choose one. And in this new UI, it's very easy to switch between them. So here I've chosen the first one, and this first one makes Laceration more defensive. And I've got a pink border around it to show it's chosen. That border design will probably change. They use the pink a lot just to show for the test server. This one makes it stronger, roll knife. And this one, Relentless Blades, makes it slow your target. So you can choose which of those 3 ways you want Laceration to behave, which is quite interesting. So at level 20, that's where things kind of get interesting and a little iffy. And this choice is the same. This next choice for level 20 is the same for concealment and for lethality. You actually have to choose between a passive that makes your Noxious Knife stronger. No, I don't have it on my bars anymore. Or makes your defensive stronger, or you choose an actual ability, which is your 4-second stun, Debilitate. So what's kind of interesting about this is that your 4-second stun that all classes currently have in the current iteration of the game, what they are presenting for the test server is that the 4-second stun is not something you will always have. Instead, it is something that you choose, and you choose between having a 4-second stun, or you choose to make your defensive ability stronger, or you choose to make your Noxious Knives do more damage and slow enemies down. So that will have to be a choice that you make. And then, so at level 25, you'll pick up Crippling Slice. And once again, you'll have that little white line. That little white line says, pick from these 3 abilities and how they will affect Crippling Slice. You can get 1 of 3, and they'll affect this ability here. And then once again, level 35, you can choose between 2 passives and having Tactical Overdrive. So once again, another choice you get to make. At level 40 is Volatile Substance, pretty normal. Number 50 is a passive choice. Number 55 is, or rather level 55 is Veiled Strike. Level 60 is another passive choice. And at level 70 is where things get interesting. So level 70 seems to be a key ability choice. There's 3 actual abilities to choose from. And this seems like something consistent between all the classes that we've seen so far, that level 70 is that real shake 'em up choice. That'll make a big difference between how my operative will play versus someone else's operative. The other choices do matter, but they're not quite as like, whoa, as the level 70 choice. So for the operative, the key choice at level 70 is between these 3 abilities. Keep in mind, in the current server, we have all 3 at once. We do not have to choose between 1 at any given time. Now, in the test server, you choose one of these 3. Infiltrate, which is the group stealth. Flashbang, which is the group stun. And hollow traverse, which is the teleport where you put a circle on the ground, run away, and you can teleport back to your circle. So that is now a choice. You can choose one of 3 at any given time. Right now, it's very easy to switch between them. I assume you probably won't be able to switch between them in combat, you know? So you'd have to probably set that up beforehand and pick which one you want to go in with. And level 80, so you cannot reach level 80 right now. You are stuck at level 75 on the test server. This is by design on purpose. But if you're curious, at level 80, you get to choose between 3 abilities. The first is Med Shield. As a passive, your shield probe heals you for 5% of your maximum health when it collapses, so it's kind of like a defensive ability. Jaggering Strike is a passive. When used from stealth, backstab, and lethal strike, interrupt and knock down the target for 3 seconds, so kind of like a... And in PvP, players are immobilized for 3 seconds rather than being knocked down, so it's kind of like a mechanical thing. And Blow for Blow is the last choice, a passive. Activating evasion grants blow for blow, returning 150% of direct single target tech and force damage taken back to the attacker while evasion is active. So basically a damage reflect, and you'll have to choose between those 3. So that's basically all there is to see in here. There's also the ability list. The ability list is a little bit messy right now. As you notice, I've got like 2 flashbangs here, 2 different infiltrates, but when you used to press P on your keyboard, this is what you get, and you can drag these down onto your quick bars. And there's also the general tab for things like your quick travel. Unfortunately, the speeders list is missing right now. LOL. So now I'm going to flip over to my sniper and show you that real fast. So overall, I was very, I guess, pretty unhappy with the Guardian changes when they first came out, because I like to play the Guardian tank, and the 3 big choices at level 70, I felt like my defensiveness was being taken away, and I felt like my key abilities were being taken away. In Concealment's case, I think that opinion is going to depend a lot on whether you play PvP or not. I think a PvP player is going to be like, oh my god, really? I have to choose between one of these 3? I actually got a chance to play a PvP match as Concealment, and I was like, why did I not pick Flashbang? And the second match was a lot more fun once I actually remembered to pick Flashbang. As terms of PvE, I'm really not too upset about those 3 choices, because I like to play story mode operations on my Concealment character, and I like to play hard solo content like the Eternal Championship, and those 3 abilities feel more situational in PvE, so I don't mind picking one. I'm sad, of course, to not have all 3 at once, but it didn't feel as dire of a choice as it did on my Jedi Guardian tank when I was testing that out. So here's what the sniper looks like. So it's a very, very similar kind of thing. You've got the sniper, marksmanship, engineering, virulence, and you can switch between the trees. Once again, when you're seeing my icons here, don't assume what they mean. Unfortunately, we don't have any text lists up of the different tree options. I'm hoping there will be some player-made ones soon, because the developers did not post any themselves, and I'm not typing this up either. Suck it. Something I wanted to show you on the sniper tree is that it's very similar. So for marksmanship, you get your special marksmanship passive at level 1. You get ambush right away at level 10, and then at level 15 you get to choose an ability, or a passive rather, that affects ambush. And then at level 25 you'll get penetrating blasts, and then at level 30 you'll get to choose one thing that will update penetrating blasts for you. Let me just make this bigger for you. And there's also this very similar pattern in that at level 20, your single target stun, your 4-second stun, is a choice. between a passive, your stun, and a different passive, much like the Operative has. So I'm wondering if this is going to become kind of a thing moving forward. The other thing I'm sure you guys want to know is what is the big level 70 choice for the Sniper? That will be Holo Locate. That's the... Oh, sorry. I think I got Holo Traverse and Holo Locate confused earlier. So Holo Traverse for the Operative is the one that lets you leap to the target. So that was the choice. And then Holo Locate, here's the one where you put down a little teleport. Sorry about that. Don't crucify me. The second choice, so first choice is Holo Locate, so the teleport. Second choice is Orbital Strike. Very weird that Orbital Strike is in here. Orbital Strike, for those of you who are... Here, let's just put it down. You'll know what it is. Orbital Strike is this one. You know? This one. What's really funny is that it's not really a key ability by any means. It shouldn't really be part of your single target rotation. Like if you're fighting a boss most of the time, maybe you can definitely use it as part of your opener, but it's not like a linchpin ability. But it's very beloved. Very, very beloved. So I think a lot of casual players and story players are gonna be like, oh, Orbital Strike, mine, thanks. And then the last one is Ballistic Shield. And that's the one that's a big shield around you and your group as well. So it's a very defensive ability. I don't play Sniper as much. I am kind of sad that you have to choose between Orbital Strike, Ballistic Shield, and then Holo Locate is a very situational ability. People use it a lot in player versus player. Obviously, you can plunk your little teleport circle down somewhere else and get out of a sticky situation easily. As well as in certain fights, it can be really useful to be able to teleport back to a certain location where you need to be later in the fight. So that's going to be your choice: Holo Locate, Orbital Strike, and Ballistic Shield. And that pretty much... Oh, I'll read through the level 80 ones just so you can see them. So there's a level 80 choice are all passives. First is Augmented Shields. Increases the amount of damage absorbed by shield probe by 30%. Calculated Pursuit. You gain 4 charges of Calculated Pursuit upon exiting cover, which allows Snipe and Lethal Shot to be activated while moving. There's more, but I'm not reading it. And lastly, Seek Cover. When Entrench ends or you leave cover while Entrench is active, you gain Seek Cover, which increases your movement speed by 50% and grants immunity to movement impairing effects. So nothing crazy. So we're not going to get like a brand new level 80 ability, it looks like, but instead we'll get some new upgrades to our existing ones that you get to choose between. There's really only one more thing that I wanted to show you in terms of differences that you can kind of think about and maybe leave feedback on. And then I'll tell you a little bit about what I think about these changes. So where is she at? Where's my Operative? Here we go. So one very interesting thing that someone noticed in the Operative, the stealthy Imperial agent, is that the sleep dart is missing. So if you're not very familiar with the Operative, if you're playing on a stealth character, while you are in stealth, you have the ability to... I saw Corrosive Dart and I got scared. You have the ability to select an enemy while you're out of combat and put them to sleep. And then you can like easily run by them, or maybe your group can even easily run by them if you're playing casually. And then if you're not playing casually, like if you're playing operations, Sleep Dart is very helpful when you're taking on a group of strong enemies, and this can go for difficult solo content as well. Like if you're playing the Master Mode chapters, this is very, very useful. You can put one of the stronger enemies to sleep, and as long as you don't touch them, they'll stay out of the fight until you're ready to go get them. Like for a whole minute, it can be very, very useful. And of course, for PvP, you can put people to sleep, and it's a big tactic when it comes to attacking the protected nodes in the mechanic-based games rather than the arenas. But what I'm getting at is that it's gone. What we don't know is that if it was a oopsie, like it was just left off by accident, because I kind of had to, they accidentally left some stuff out in previous iterations of the test server, like they accidentally left out the interrupt and stun breaker, and we didn't know if this was on purpose or accident. They clarified they just hadn't added it in. It didn't really mean too much, and they actually added it back in the next iteration. However, for Sleep Dart, more generally known as a crowd control ability, all stealth classes have them. We don't know if it was left off by accident or on purpose, so we're kind of waiting for more information about that. It could really go either way, to be honest. So now what do I think? So I'm so freaking happy that there is an interface now. I don't care if it's ugly. I'm just glad that I can now conceptualize and visualize and see what my abilities are, and it makes it so much easier to think about what I think about the choices, because I found it almost impossible to do via text. When we were testing the Jedi Guardian, I actually had to make some graphics just so I could understand what the text said. But here I feel like it's quite clear. And I feel like it'll be even clearer once the interface is cleaned up a little more and spaced out a little better, for players who when a player opens them up, I expect them to understand how it works. I also really like that your abilities and I guess your passes, whatever you want to call them, they used to be utilities. They're now baked into this. They're all in one spot. They're all right here. All your choices, all right here. You don't have to like flip between 3 different windows or 3 different panels to see them all. What do I think about the pruning of abilities in general? I was very unhappy about it for the Jedi Guardian, and I was very unhappy about it in general. I kind of like, I don't hate the operative ones that I've tried so far. I do not hate it quite as much. I don't know if it's possibly because it's a class I play less, or if it's because they did a better job explaining and setting everything up this time. Like there was no dashed expectations. Like I kind of vaguely knew what would be coming up. And I also feel like they did a better job picking which abilities stay and which go and which got mashed together than they did the first time with the Jedi Guardian and Jedi Sentinel. By the way, if you were giving feedback about that, they also posted up a change log of how they have changed those since the last test server. I have not checked that out yet. You'll have to do that on your own on the public test forums. And lastly, I guess my biggest thoughts are between these 3 choices right here. They don't feel too bad. They don't feel horrible to me. They're not like, I need to go quit the game now. The last part I want to talk about in this video before I let you go is giving feedback. So I will post in the description of this video the links to the test servers, where you can go give feedback after updating the test server and jumping online to play. I don't really recommend giving feedback if you haven't actually played and tried it out, but you can. Just make sure to note that I did not download the PTS. I'm doing this based on information that I saw online, and and if you did play, make sure to say you said I downloaded PTS. You know, I played Concealment, I played Sniper Marksmanship. Make sure to note which one you are playing, and I think it's very helpful to include what types of content you normally like to play. Like I normally like to play PvP on this character. I normally do Nightmare Mode operations. I normally like to do story content and story chapters over and over and dailies and stuff like that. I think that can give a lot of context for your feedback as well. So what they're asking, their biggest question is, does this feel like playing an operative? Does this feel like playing a sniper? For example, for me, if they happen to ever get rid of stealth from the operative, then I would say, no, this doesn't feel like playing the operative. So whatever that version of that is for you, like whatever abilities or set of abilities, if they got removed in this test server version, that really made it feel like you're not playing an operative anymore, or like you're really gonna hate it, let them know for sure. That's important. Or is there something like Sleep Dart that you're just like so confused, or like I play hardcore with both infiltrate and flashbang together. That's my whole PvP thing. That's how I roll. Make sure to include that feedback in your test server feedback as well. If there's anything you like, also include that as well. And it's very important to include how it makes you feel. How does it make you feel is a really important sentiment to include in your feedback, because it can help them a lot. They're basically their goal is to, it seems, pare down the number of abilities you have. That sounds like it's going to happen no matter what kind of feedback you give. So it's kind of more important to let them know which ones you think are important, because I don't think at this point, I don't think they're going to stop the whole ability pruning concept. So it's better to give feedback on like, please move flashbang into the ones that you get no matter what, or maybe move it down into an easier category to choose from. I don't know, something like that. And I hope you are able to get some useful information about this video, either how to actually go test this out on the test server, or I hope that if you aren't going to be playing on the test server, this gave you a good kind of look at what the new system will look like. It's ugly right now, but mechanically how it will look like. And it gives you an idea of what the Sniper and the Operative might be like in 7.0. Remember, this is a work in progress and they are still accepting feedback. So don't expect this to be the final product. If you want to show your support for this series of me going on the PTS and showing you stuff, you can visit Swtorista.com/Patreon, or if you want to see similar Star Wars The Old Republic videos show up on your YouTube homepage, subscribe to this channel. As always, may the stabby stab knives be with you. Bye, everybody.